Okay, hello everybody. We know that you're waiting for that too long, and we appreciate your patience. We finally got this guy with us. So please, warm welcome to the Nelson Nojia. Nelson, hi.
Hello, guys. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to finally be here.
Yeah, we waited for you so long, and our fans waiting for you so long.
What have you been doing all this time, and how was your vacation going?
Good. Yeah, it's been nice to be home, see family and friends that, it's difficult to see those people in person throughout the season with Astana being so far away from my hometown. I mean, when you factor in getting to the airport and flying there, it's about 32 to 36 hours just to get from Saskatoon or Calgary all the way to Astana. So it's a long ways for people to come. So when I'm finally able to come home after a season, it's nice to spend time with loved ones and just relax a little bit too, because there's obviously the grind of the season where um, you're practicing and skating every day. So to just let your body relax and kick your feet up, it's been really nice. So far everything's been really good. I'm in Calgary with my girlfriend Rachel, and yeah, we're just enjoying lots of time together, which has been great.
As we mentioned before, you are a huge favorite of local fans. So everybody was asking us to make a podcast with you and get some more information. So we didn't have the opportunity before. So please tell us where you're from, what were you doing before, how did you make it to the hockey, who are the big players you used to look up to, and all this stuff.
And how you got to Astana at the end?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, well, I'm born and raised in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. Just a small prairie province, or a small city in one of the prairie provinces, and right in the middle of Canada, which very fortunate to have grown up there. Really good communities, lots of good community hockey. Was introduced to hockey at a really young age by my parents, who were both pretty actively involved in hockey themselves. Um, played hockey growing up, played junior in both Saskatoon and Red Deer, and then turned pro at 20 years old. I was fortunate enough to get drafted by the Winnipeg Jets and played with their farm club for almost 6 years, 5.5 years. And then eventually, I was fortunate enough to have known Lyndon Bay from training and skating with him back home in Saskatoon. We both come from the same hometown. And 2 years ago, he had reached out to me and asked if I had any interest of coming over and playing for Barry's. And, I had actually reached out to him first and asked him what that league was like, because I was looking for new options outside of what was available to me in North America. So um, he was basically able to arrange for me to come over, and rest is history. I've been there 2 years now, and I absolutely love it. So hoping that there's a third year here coming down the pipeline, but we'll see what happens.
We've discovered that the province that where you born, Saskatchewan, is the warmest part of Canada and the most tornado active part. Have you seen one?
Yeah, I haven't seen any super big ones, but you'll see them all the time throughout the summer. It's a very, very flat province. Um, I'm lucky in the sense that it's very similar to Astana. So when I come to Astana, there's a lot of people that complain about the cold in the wintertime. Um, like, you guys know what it's like to have the wind chill when the wind's blowing like crazy, and minus 30 now feels like it's minus 45. That's all stuff I'm used to. Saskatchewan, as far as the terrain and the climate, is very, very similar to Astana. So for me, the transition's really easy when I come over and play there. So yeah, you have those extreme things in the summer in Saskatchewan where you might see the odd tornado, but it's not anything that I've seen. There's certain pockets of the province where there are some crazy ones, but I've never seen them myself. Just hear about them in the news.
Yeah, thanks God.
Yeah, isn't that the truth for sure?
You mentioned Lyndon Vay. We also discovered that you used to play with one of former Barry centers, Patrice Cormie. He made a good impact on our team in recent years, and he's currently in Germany. Have you talked with him before moving to KHL?
No, I hadn't talked to him before moving to the KHL. I was fortunate enough to play with Patrice for a number of years in Manitoba. He was my captain there, and still to this day, one of the best captains I've ever had. He was a really good player, really good teammate. Um, but going back to people that I had played with before coming to Barris, I had also played junior hockey with Darren Dietz, who I know had an extremely good career in Barris. So um, I had reached out to him a couple times too, and you know what, he's helped me a lot in Astana. If there's ever anything that comes up where I'm not totally sure about, he's usually one of the first people I reach out to, just because obviously his expertise in both the league and the city. So he's certainly a good friend to have as well.
You and him, you could compete for being most fan favorite player, and so the fans
No,
asking.
he's a legend. I'll never live up to Dieter's hype. He's done a lot for that team and for that city, so he
That's
definitely
sure.
takes the title on that one.
We are still love him even if he plays for another team for CSKA, and we're really happy for him and for that matter that he brought the Gagarin's Cup to Astana. That what a legend! But never say never. I mean, everything is in the future bright and clear. And so what I'm about to ask is the fans asking that. How can they find you online? Maybe in Instagram, maybe in TikTok or whatever. Do you have some social media active profiles?
So my first year in Astana, I had Instagram, and then I just found I was using the app too much on my downtime, and I just found I was better off without social media. I find it's easier for me to continue to build the relationships with people that I'm close with, and um, apply myself in other areas of life. So no, I mean, unfortunately for the fans, as much as I wish there was a way for me to interact with you guys a little bit more, yeah, I'm pretty much a ghost when it comes to social media.
Probably Rachel has an Instagram when she posted the pictures of you.
She does, yes, she does. Yeah.
And right now, some of the girls who's watching podcasts, oh, he has a girlfriend, Rachel. Let's switch off the podcast. We're
Yeah.
done.
They're no longer listening.
Listen, we spoke with a lot of persons among staff, players, and fans, and everybody telling just great, good things about you. Does this feelings being appreciated and respected help you throughout the not a good season that we had last year?
For sure. I mean, I'm not, it's just the type of person that I am. I'm not really looking for, any sort of praise when it comes to that kind of stuff. I just want to make sure that I treat everyone with respect, and it's usually reciprocated. So, um, when you're going through a difficult season like we had this past season, it's it's really easy to get down on yourself, both as an individual, as a team. And I'm not just speaking for myself, but for all of my teammates and staff, and even the fans too. And the season's too long. When you look at a 68 game schedule, it can make for an even longer season if you sit and dwell on things when things are going unfortunate. So I just make sure that I always bring the right attitude to the rink every day, and approach each day as, a new opportunity. Even though things might not be going well, life's too short to, you know, be down and depressed about things. So just making sure that I bring a good attitude, and try and make everyone else's day better. That's all I can ever ask for.
Sorry, Farhad, that's a great mindset. And you mentioned the long season. Did you follow the news and this decision by the league to prolong the season? So they will end the season on the end of the May instead of the end of April. And what do you think of that?
Yeah. I don't mind it. So from what I've also understood too, is that things will start a little bit later as well. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, uh, actually, no. I mean, the preseason starts a little bit later, but the season starts still in September, in the early September, actually.
Yes.
Okay, so but will training camps not start till like August 1st? Is that right? Ish,
That
or
is
is it going to
right.
depend on the team?
That is right. The
Yeah.
preseason only August 1st.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't have an issue with it. When I heard the news, I was actually quite excited. When you look, like you guys can definitely agree with this when you compare the weather based on the time of the season. So when I'm home, the best months are June, July, August. And when the North American season, everything doesn't start up till September. So you can usually enjoy those months. Whereas that was a little bit of an adjustment for me when I came to the KHL last year, um, with coming in the middle of July, you're missing those really nice days of the summertime, which is fine. It's nice to be back in the stand and playing hockey, get to enjoy the weather there, but you're not with your family and friends doing things that I've been accustomed to for, the first 26 years of my life. Um, so when I heard the news that they were going to extend it and training camp's going to start till August, it's nice that you have those two extra weeks at home in July. And then it's also nice too. I'm not sure how the schedule is going to play out. Maybe by them pushing it back a month. I don't know if they're going to add games or not. You guys might know, but if they're going to add games or maybe just put a little more space in the schedule between games, if the schedule is going to start at the same time and end a month later, it should relieve some of the busyness of that, KHL grind of a schedule. So and the weather back home anyways for me isn't great in March, April, chunk of May, so I'd be more than happy to continue to be playing hockey during those months.
I believe you had 13 or 14 games in October last season.
We did. We had some really busy months last year. Like that last year's schedule was probably one of the hardest schedules that I've played in my professional career.
And you still managed. You one of the few players that played all games, all 68 games, and it tells us that your preparation for the season is in the right way. So, can you please share with us what do you do before the season starts? So maybe some younger players can take some notes from you.
Yeah, well, myself and I think the only other guy was Arkady Shestakov, correct? I think
Sure.
we were just the
Yes.
two guys who played both full seasons, and it's a lot of preparation coming into the season. I do a lot of training at home here with my trainers and making sure that my body's in a good place when I come into training camp, and a lot of it too. So it's one thing to make sure you come into training camp feeling strong and feeling healthy, but it's taking care of your body throughout the season too. Um, there's there are some things that are out of your control when it comes to injuries and missing games. Like you look at the unfortunate situation that Alex Grant found himself in this year, comes back from an injury that, he didn't really have a whole lot of control over and then breaks his hand. Um, he was just playing the game the right way and unfortunately was on the wrong side of things. So there's those types of things. But when it comes to my situation this year where I was fortunate to play every game, it was just a matter of taking care of myself and doing everything right when it comes to nutrition and sleep and stretching in the gym and doing workouts when the schedule permitted me to do so, just to make sure that my body was always ready to go. It's when Barry signs me at the beginning of the season, they sign me to play 68 games. And, I feel that it's my duty to make sure that I'm always ready to play every game. So being fortunate enough to stay healthy throughout the whole season was a huge positive for me.
You wanted to ask about Alex Grant,
About Alex, well, what did I wanted to ask about Alex? It's slipped out of my mind. I know that I was about ask about Kuri. Do you remember the Kuri, young goalie?
Yeah, Kudimov. I know Kudi.
Yeah,
Kudi
he
got his warm up lap in Ufa.
yes,
I don't know if
and
you remember that on Instagram.
yeah, we do remember, and he sends his highs to you, and he speaks very high about you, and he said that you laughed a lot about when you discovered how he got into hockey. He said like just tell him about how I got into hockey. He laughed very hard about it.
Yeah, no, he has a good story. He's a good kid, and he worked hard this year when he was with us, which was great. So even though there was a language barrier for a lot of my teammates, I always make sure that I try and spend as much time as I can with everybody. And I was fortunate enough that I got to sit with Cootie on the bus, so I like to poke fun with him in the dressing room every now and then too.
Is he a fluent speaker in English?
Well, no, I wouldn't say fluent.
Mhm.
No, he knows the basics. He understands more than he can speak, but yeah, he does pretty well.
That's what I love about our young generation, John. I mean, the old timers.
Like
They,
Salchenko.
I highly doubt
Yeah,
that
like
he has
Starry.
that basics. I mean, I guess he's
No.
still talking
Well,
Russian to Dalza or Dalmon.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you look at the young guys like Ospinov and Musarov. Those guys, I mean, having played in North America, their English is perfect. And then you got Tamerlan as well, who has completely perfect English. So, I mean, those guys are super valuable for our dressing room because they can bridge that gap between imports and local players who can, when guys are trying to figure things out. So we were fortunate this year that there were a lot of guys who understood the language and could speak it actually quite well.
Except to you, who's the glue guy in the locker
I mean, we had a few this year. We had a pretty good locker room, which made for a pretty fun season, despite the unfortunate statistics, I guess. Like we had, like Tamerlan's always, making sure everyone's in a good mood. Same with Alex Grant. Those are guys that they're just always in a good mood. They're always making sure that the dressing room's, feeling good about itself. And like I had mentioned earlier, just trying to make the most of every single day.
You mentioned rough season. At one point of the season, we had some injuries, and Joseph was injured, and coaching staff was forced to make some adjustments. And you played like a center in a
Yeah.
power play in front of the net. Uh, how was it like? Was it a new role for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've never played net front on a power play before, so it was a new opportunity. I had a lot of fun with it. It was, I'm a big body. I can stand in front of the net. I can get cross-checked by the other team, and it doesn't really bug me. So it was just kind of a situation that worked, and wish we could have got more goals out of me standing in front of the net. I'm not quite as good at it as Joseph was, but yeah, it was a cool opportunity.
So
Just one more element that I can add to my game.
add to your resume. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've played center in power plays.
Всем салют, я Ансар. Сегодня мы тестируем новинку CCM Jet Speed FT7 Pro. Весь прошлый сезон я играл с клюшкой CCM Jet Speed FT6 Pro. Эта модель новее. Тут также удобный шафт, необычное перо. Клюшка очень легкая. Мне все нравится.
Every player that we talk about you, they're talk very high about you, and they all want to see you in the team. I mentioned Kuri. He told me like you're the guy that he could approach and ask some advices, even though he's a Russian speaking player, right? It shows how you're the valuable for all the team, for English speaking side of the team and the Russian side of the team. We spoke with Starry, and he told like he's the man. He really spoke high about you. And what about you? Would you like to continue in Astana?
Yeah, I would. I really would. I like the organization. I like the city. I've always been treated with, nothing but respect um, everyone's welcomed me in with open arms since the day I got there, from the staff, from my teammates to the fans. And I'm so grateful for everyone when it comes to stuff like that. So yeah, I'm now sitting here in Canada hoping that we can get something done and find an opportunity for me to come back, but time will tell.
Any contract talks already?
Nope, nothing yet.
Probably general
We're
manager
still
approached team and said, listen, we need to wait a little bit, maybe before World Championships or after World Championships. Any talks?
yeah, that's no, that's my guess. I think the team's first and foremost not problem that they want to solve, but they want to look after finding a coach first, which I totally understand. I think it's important that you start with your coaching staff and then bring players in after that. So if I had to guess what's happening, that would probably be my best guess.
Yeah, I'm guessing. About that. They will wait till the World Championships, and after that, they will evaluate everything with the board, decide the coaching stuff, and then start to play. Start to sign the finding players. So. If anybody would ask me, but I guess nobody from Barıse organization would ask me, but still I will tell. I will tell that everybody wants Nelson in the team. We demand it. I mean, if you don't want to, you don't want me to start this campaign in your social media accounts with the army of fans. Like, you better do the right thing. Sign Nelson. We're writing to
Petition
Yeah.
to the president Tokayev.
Okay. Hey, I'm all for it. Whatever it takes to get me back.
Listen, we mentioned the extension of the season, and do you think that KHL should have followed NHL's path and become more independent and as a commercial league, not looking back to IHF in terms of World Championships, because obviously Russia and Belarus not going to play this year, probably next year. So, what steps do you think should KHL take to become commercial and more successful?
That one's tough. Like the business side of the game, I've never really spent too much time looking into. Like for me, I've never really been too exposed to the IIHF. I've never played for any IIHF sanctioned tournaments, from my understanding. I've only ever been in North America having played professionally there for 6 years and playing under the NHL and the American Hockey League. That's all I really knew. So then when I came over to Kazakhstan and started playing in the KHL, I just kind of started to figure out the whole IIHF and the relationship with the KHL. And it's tough for me to really weigh in on that, as I just don't really have enough background information to know where both parties stand on the whole situation.
Okay, let's talk about Ovechkin's race.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, what's
42
he at
goals.
right now? He's
42 goals to be first. 41 to tie with Gretzky, with the legend.
so he's close.
Well, looking back to this season, he had this slow start, really slow start, and many people like myself even, I was like, man, he's not getting to Gretzky, but then he started to scoring those pucks, and now he has only 42 goals, but it could be 2 seasons. Do you think he has 2 seasons in his pocket?
No, I don't know if he might. He's a good enough player. He could keep playing he could play 3 more seasons if he wanted to. His shot is it's one of the best in the league. So, having that weapon on your power play, it's lethal, especially still in the NHL. So, and he's still finding ways to score. So there's nothing saying that he's not going to play more than or anything less than 1 or 2 more seasons. So the possibility of him getting there is still really high.
What about feelings of people in Canada and US? Their compatriot, Canadian guy, Wayne Gretzky holds the biggest record in the history of the game, their game that they are invented. And what will they feel when Russian guy will overcome Gretzky?
I haven't really talked to anyone who's weighed in too much on that. Like, everyone knew that he wasn't going to get it this year. It was just completely unachievable, especially given the start that he had. And then you look at guys like Austin Matthews, who was on trying to get 70. And then you got the McDavid and the Kucherovs who were trying to get 100 assists. And then you just look at the years of the seasons of other players too, like McKinnon and Pasternak, who had just unbelievable seasons. Like these guys, like you guys had mentioned earlier, they're like superhuman hockey players. It's unbelievable how they can go out there and just completely control a game and essentially just win their team games based on their performance. So there were all of these little milestones this season that I think put a shadow kind of over the Ovechkin scoring title race. So I'm sure there's probably lots of people here who are, passionate about the Canadian player and Wayne Gretzky. And, he's arguably the greatest player to ever play with all the records that he holds and the career that he had. So yeah, I would imagine that there's going to be some upset people, but hey, records are meant to be broken.
And do you think that Connor or Austin will overcome Ovechkin's record or Gretzky record in the future?
Providing they stay healthy, there's nothing saying that they won't. I mean, if Austin Matthews continues to put 70 goals up every season, there's a really good chance. It's that 70 goal pace is not many guys have done it. I was trying to look it up last night while the game was going on, how many guys have eclipsed the 70 goal.
I remember Solani.
I can't imagine it's been very Solani.
In his rookie season, Solani made it 72. He played for
72.
Winnipeg. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but even then, I can't imagine it's too many, because even the 100 assist marker, like I think there was only 4 people prior to McDavid and Kucherov surpassing that over the last week. So yeah, we're seeing a completely different, something that we never thought we'd see, we're seeing, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, what blows my mind that considering the ammunition that the goalies have, the modern ammunition, and they still somehow manage to put 70
Bucks. That's unreal. I mean, that's some Marvel stuff.
Crazy. It really is. Yeah, it really is. The goalie's equipment just continues to get bigger, I feel like, and these guys are still finding ways to score.
Yeah, I don't have questions. Farhad prepared some short blitz for you, Nelson.
Yeah, well, it's not actually me who prepared. I just copied them from our social accounts because when we remember Dinara, gave us the video with you when you said like I'm planning to join the podcast at Siney Lini from the Blue Line, and so I wrote the caption like, what do you want to ask Nelson about? And so those are questions. It's a blitz. Those are questions are straight from fans. And fans, awesome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I guess we have a good relations with you guys. So keep on subscribing this podcast. Keep on supporting us, and we will provide you with a more awesome podcast like these one. So the first question: what would you prefer, score the goal or block it?
Score the goal. it doesn't happen too often. I mean, this was probably my best year for as far as scoring goals go, and feels pretty good. So I think scoring goals. That's why the goalies have the equipment, right? They get to stop the goal.
Yep. And they have their statistics, right? I heard
That's right.
I heard that some goalies are sometimes asked not to try to block it because they're messing with their statistics.
Yeah, maybe not necessarily the statistics, but usually, well, yeah, in turn, it ends up affecting the statistics. But when a player tries to block a shot and he doesn't get all of it, it'll change the direction of the puck sometimes. And then the goalie, where he was tracking it once before, after it hits the player, it's going somewhere else, and he might not be able to react quick enough to make the save. And if it goes in, yeah, hurts the statistics.
Okay, next one. What qualities do you value most in person?
I mean, there's obviously lots. I think honesty and respect would be the first two that come to mind. I mean, without those, it's tough to get anywhere in life, in my opinion. I mean, you want the other qualities of hard work and trustworthiness as well. I think those would probably be the four key ones in my eyes.
All right. And what are your interests besides hockey?
Well, I love spending time outdoors. I'm a huge outdoorsy guy. I like to spend lots of time at my parents' lake. I like to go on hikes with Rachel. I like to go mountain biking. I like to play golf. I enjoy hunting. I enjoy fishing. Basically, anything that gets me outside, I really do enjoy.
Well,
That's the type of person I would like to be. No social media, no computer, no notebook, no connection. Just go outside with your wife or girlfriend
or
Yeah,
board games.
it's nice. You know,
yes.
I do like board games. Board games are fun. If it's raining and I can't be outside, I like a good board game.
We are huge fans of board games. When John comes to Almaty, we play a lot. So what I'm suggesting, is it right a word that I chose? Like, if everything went good, will be nice, and you will come back to Astana. You can come with Rachel a little bit earlier. Fly to Almaty, and we can go outdoors together on a hike to the mountains, because we have a really beautiful
Yeah.
mountains here and beautiful roads. So yeah,
Yes. No, I can agree with that, because like I said, I was able to stop into Almaty last season during a small break in the schedule to see it. So it's beautiful out there.
And that was actually one of the fans' question. 2 years in Astana, would you like to visit some other cities? And as you guys see, Nelson already been to Almaty, and he was on Shumbulak.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
how was it?
good. It was really good. Yeah, it was really cool. We took because you get down there and you buy your lift ticket, and then we took the gondola up to the base of the mountain where all the restaurants were, and we had lunch down there, and then we hopped on one of the chairlifts, and we weren't skiing because it was the middle of the season and we didn't want to get hurt. But we took the chairlift up. It was Jesse Graham and I'm sure everyone remembers him from a couple seasons ago. We went up to the top and had a coffee at the top of the mountain at the it's like a little chalet basically at the top there where they serve hot drinks. And then we took the chairlift back down and took a bunch of photos along the way and came home. It was a fun day.
Yeah, sounds really good. And can you name any place in Astana besides Arena that you like most?
In Astana, well, I mean, there were lots of restaurants that I really grew to like. We were living in Highville the past couple of seasons, right beside the Hazrat Sultan Mosque. So there was, there's a handful of restaurants that you would find us eating at all the time. Spend lots of time at the Mega Silkway. It's a good mall, big mall, lots of walking around. So there's so much to see in Astana as far as and I'm gonna get these names wrong, but the Expo, I'm pretty sure that big ball just outside Mega.
The Death Star.
The what?
The Death Star from Star Wars.
Oh, I've never saw it. I don't get it.
Really? Well,
No.
all right. That's the movie. They have that
Okay.
weapon. Looks like the giant expo ball. Sorry.
But you could spend a number of days in there with the amount of information they have in that thing. It's actually really cool. And then, like, I was so lucky this year having been able to come in July and see the city in the summertime. My first season, I didn't come till end of September, so it was already getting a little bit cold out. But to come and see how beautiful the city is in the summertime, it's awesome. The amount of places that you can walk and see, like right beside right downtown, the Baderek. Is how you say it?
Yeah, Baderek.
Seeing that park in the summertime is really cool. And you can walk right down the whole middle of the city, which, it starts at the Pyramid of Peace and Reconciliation. Is that what it is? Peace Pyramid?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you can't get across the river, but that whole right down to the Conchateer Mall, you can see straight down it, which is so cool. So there's tons of things to do, which was really fun.
And the last question from the Blitz. What is your best childhood memory?
Best childhood memory. I mean, geez, I've been so lucky that I have quite a few of them. I think my favorite memory to date was probably my first NHL game. That was, for me, was always as a kid growing up watching the NHL, being a hockey fan, growing up and playing the game. It was always my dream to play in that league, and being fortunate enough to do so and getting a handful of games. That first one meant a lot to not only me but my family as well. So, I mean, that was probably the highlight of my hockey career, but lots of childhood memories of playing hockey out on the backyard rink. I was so fortunate that my parents made a rink in our backyard with full boards around it and 2 nets at both ends. So always had friends and family and my sister and mom and dad out there skating with us. So, a lot of memories out there.
Nelson, it was great to have you.
Yeah.
We will no longer take your time. We will follow the news. We hope that soon we will see the contract extension news. So
Yep.
take care, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah,
in
thanks.
Astana.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate your time today. Thanks for having me on, and thanks to all the fans for tuning in and watching and submitting your questions. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah, thank you, and I really hope that we will meet you in person and do it second time, but live. Thank you, Nelson, and take care, and goodbye.
Thanks, you guys. Take care. Goodbye.